Right then, guys, we're back with our Q&A, our regular little Q&A slot. Some nice questions coming in. So, just been glancing through a few of them here. Yeah, some quite good ones, really. Yeah. I'll start with that one. There you are, Mark Woodhouse. Hi, Mark. How are we doing? Is the Scania only used for shows? Yes, basically, yeah. We've got 3 now, 3 Scanias. There's 2 there. And 1 out, but basically, yeah, shows and moving our own trailers and bits and pieces about. That's the T-cab, the one that that you see on the television a bit. Internet, you can buy a model for that. There's not many left. There's not many left. I think there's only about 10 or 20 left, I think, down at the shop. So we might do some models of the other ones when we get going. But yeah, predominantly, yeah, it's for our own use, that one.
I've got one from Joe Miller, probably me more than anyone else. Have you ever had any mishaps when collecting a vehicle where it's actually got any bumps or damage? But I've never damaged anything, but I've had plenty of mishaps.
Yeah, there's bound to be something, but I can't think of one.
Probably because I always get them.
Yeah, probably because you always get it.
I always either get stuck in a field or something, don't
mishaps. No, to be fair, no, not really. There isn't, is there? I can't think of anything.
No, I've never damaged anything.
Not ourselves, no. There will be something,
really,
I'm sure, but no, there's nothing that springs to mind when you go, oh no, I remember that day. Oh.
No.
No, there's nothing that springs to mind. We tend to try and take our time, and if in doubt, winch rather than drive. So nothing springs to mind. No, considering the thousands of vehicles we moved,
definitely,
nothing
we've been very, very
springs
lucky
to mind, is it?
Other than I always get a load of grief from the one in Kirby Moorside when I got stuck on the
grass, Chris Rapper.
Which I actually managed to get out and get off the grass, which they didn't show before Paul arrived. So
didn't show because it didn't make good TV. You
that's
see.
It, exactly. So I look like a bit of a donut there. But anyway, you move, don't you? We move on. But no, I don't think we've had any major dramas.
On that note, I'll just interject you. Dave Robson here. I know you pick up lots. Do you deliver? Yes and no. What we found, Dave, is that the minute we commit ourselves to a delivery, thinking we'll be over in Manchester at some point next week, we'll be down at Northampton at some point, because we're all over the country all the time. The minute we commit ourselves, we don't go to that place, do we? So the minute we say, yeah, I've been in Manchester 3 times this last fortnight, and then you don't go for 3 or 4 weeks, or we've got no need to go. And then the new owner is ringing and saying, you said you bring the car over. I know, but I haven't been to Manchester. So we tend not to back ourselves in a corner with deliveries, purely because we've got so much going on and it's difficult to commit, which is why we work very closely with about half a dozen now contractors that are in and out all the time. Those guys, that's what they do. That's what they do. They collect cars, they bring cars, they take cars. So they operate on a subsidised basis, so they keep the costs as low as they possibly can.
Harrison Cox has asked, what job do you think you'd be doing if it wasn't this?
Ooh.
That's a tricky one.
I'd still be doing dancing and ballet, I think.
Would it be? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I'd
I think I'd still be doing
the ping pong career.
Yeah, I think I'd be still ballet.
I don't know, actually. No, on a serious note, what would I do other than this? I don't know. I'd have to try and pursue the rally in a
farming.
bit more. Would you do farming?
I think I would, yeah. When we had the farm and I grew up young farmers, and I thoroughly enjoyed those years when we had the farm. I'd love a farm now, just to play farm, not a real farm. We all know that you lose money. Clarkson's farm's great at that, and he highlights the fact that you lose money farming.
You made 100 quid, I think.
Yeah, but still can't quite work out how some of these farms run around in new Defenders, new Fendt tractors, new pickups, new trailers, new JCBs, but lose money. But it depends on how good you are at farming, I assume. But I think farming's a nice lifestyle, isn't it? So I think it would be farming for me.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
I think it would be. Right, so Jim here, Jim Trussell. Should you ever change the colour on a classic car from its original colour to a new one? That very much, I think, depends on the car and the provenance with the car, I would suggest. I'm guilty of changing colours at times. I've got one now, the MG, obviously was green, is now blue. Not a high value car though. I mean, an MGB, great little car. We've had it for probably 20 years. Value, somewhere between £5,000 and £10,000. So not detrimental, I don't think, to the car. If it was 50, 60, 70,000 pounds, yeah, and it had a lot of provenance with it, you know, a Jaguar, an Aston Martin, a Rolls Royce, or whatever it might be, with a big folder full of, you know, information and so forth, and it had always been one colour, I would suggest not. I've seen 1 or 2 modern colours used on cars. I saw a guy paint a TR6 in metallic silver, looked fantastic, looked lovely. It depends. If you're going to keep it and enjoy it and use it, do what you like, I think, really. If you're looking for an exit later on with view to moving the car on, I would suggest not. I would suggest not.
Yeah. What have we got here? Oh, Paul Stevenson. Now the auctions are all online, do you miss the days of in-person auctions? Which I do massively. I miss people floating about. I think the atmosphere was great. I suppose you'd sort of look back, don't you, with rose-tinted glasses. I think if we were to do one now, all of a sudden it'd be like, oh my Lord, what have we got ourselves into? But I think at the time, I thoroughly enjoyed everyone being on site. And I know it was a bit chaotic at times, and I think it actually works better how we do it now. But in terms of the atmosphere and people floating about and just the auction vibe, I suppose, I think I do really miss that.
I do and I don't. It was bloody hard work.
I was a bit younger though, I suppose.
You are herding cats constantly. The atmosphere is nice. The problems that are associated with it, they're huge.
It was a bit of grief.
And on that note, the reason we don't, we keep going over this, and I keep seeing the odd. I'm not on. I don't look at many, but I keep seeing the odd. Why don't you go back to you know, to public attendance and so forth? It doesn't take a lot of working out, but for those that haven't quite worked it out yet, opened up for a public auction. We used to have 3,000 people turn up on a Saturday. That would now be 5 times that. That would be 15,000 people would, and we're not saying we're in the same league as Clarkson's Farm, as we mentioned earlier, nowhere near, obviously. But number-wise, we would have, I guarantee you, we would have, if we have 10,000 people turn up to an impromptu meet, car meet at Leeds, we're going to have 10,000 people turn up, aren't we, to a publicised auction. If we have 15,000 people turn up to our live event in Scampston, we're going to have 10,000 people turn up to a live auction. 10,000 people, guys. 10,000 people, not buyers, people. Where am I going to put them? Where am I going to put the 6,000 cars they come in? So that's why. That is why. So, and it's very difficult to distinguish between who can come and who can't come. So that's why we're doing it. But anyhow, I think that draws us to an end on today's Q&A. So thanks ever so much. Keep the questions in. I'm working through them as much as we can. We'll tick a few more boxes off. We'll try and do some more again tomorrow if we can. For now,
see you soon.
Catch you later.